Well, I think not just me personally, but everybody, I guess worldwide, would like to see racism extinguished to some degree at least, and rather not see its effects as we do today.
Thus far into this presentation, we have dictated many different suggestions that would say that a person's racism is caused in the early development of that person's life. Despite this, there's many different arguments, different, I guess, possibilities throughout human history that suggest that racism is also a cause, so racism and xenophobia are both a cause of nature and instinct. The ability of species relative in a genus to adapt to an environment is an element of nature. An example of this is our greatest ancestors, Homo erectus and Homo habilis. The evolution from Homo erectus to Homo sapien is a result of changing environment, one being the fully erect spine for upright walking of Homo erectus that was only somewhat present in Homo habilis. Another more modern-day example is different dog breeds. A pit bull and a golden shepherd are both different types of dogs. They can interbreed and produce fertile children, but then are those children purebred? No. Therefore, it is seen as uncanny by man to do so, as they are of different pedigree and will not mix to create a better or stronger pedigree for certain tasks. Each breed of dog is different because of evolution. They needed to adapt to an environment to create certain features. So what does this have to do with racism resulting from nature? What does Homo erectus and Homo habilis have being different, or a golden shepherd and pit bull, or evolution in general have to do with this principle? Could it be that different races are similar to dog breeds? Now, we don't mean to say that dog breeders are evil for keeping pedigrees, and man should be bred like dog as a dog pedigree. But we adapt to nature to different environments in our development.
When God was making Asians, he made two types of Asians. And you guys got first choice on looks. This on the deal. He goes, we'll take eyes.
An example of racial difference is the different skull shapes, such as the Georgian or Caucasoid, which is present in ethnic groups such as European, Arabic, Jewish, and South Asians, and the Mongoloid or Mongolian skulls that are present in East Asian groups such as Japanese and Korean people. The term Caucasian is a social term that includes white Europeans, but in fact, in anthropology also includes those who originate from the Middle East and even South Asia via the Georgian skull. These are different skulls as well as facial features. What we use to designate different ethnic groups such as Punjabis from Pashtuns are a result from adapting different environments, and this is true. Throughout history, India has been a much different climate from China, which has been a much different climate from Kenya, and they have all been much different landscapes, climate, or just environment in general from each other and from Europe. The evolution of cultures to adapt to an environment is also a major factor. Certain cultures vary, not just because of the genetic makeup of the members of said race, but due to the environments they faced historically that change their genetic makeup. Cultures evolve in different ways, much like people evolved into different races. For example, in Arabic culture, keeping the body covered in public is a must, whereas that is not the case in European and North American cultures. Another example is foods. Indian foods are known for spices, and Indians are known for Indian foods. India is full of spices, which the British enjoyed during conquest. What does different genes or cultural aspects have to do with racism? Asians are good at math. Indians are cheap. These stereotypes are created by our differences. Stereotypes can be perceived as racist. Although nature creates stereotypes through different genes and cultures, what does this have to do with the original question? Are people raised to be racist? Does nature impact this the tiniest bit? We know that nature creates differences, but what we have not covered yet is how instinct, a part of nature, attracts us to those most similar to us. Example is, picture yourself as you were or still are in high school. Were you a prep, skater, emo goth, nerd? Now, on your first day of grade 9, who are you most attracted to? Probably someone of a similar style if you hadn't already known that person, or a person who isn't familiar with a group of people will more likely be able to fit in with them than with another.
Well, I think stereotypes are just what people normally do. For instance, when a group of people immigrate from Jamaica and come to Canada, they want to be with people like themselves who speak the same language, eat the same food, and things like that. And so after a while, they get into doing the same things with each other. And that's where the stereotypes come from. And I think the difference between stereotypes and racism is racism takes it to the next level, where when you're a racist, you're using stereotypes in a negative way, saying that this race maybe isn't good or is worse than mine because they do this or they can't do this.
Personal example involving this subject are my own experience in the Peel region near Toronto, Ontario. The sites of Peel show a lot more diversity, especially amongst Asian and South Asian ethnicities. Unlike Lindsay, Ontario, where there isn't enough of a certain race to form their own clique in a high school, this is certainly the case in Peel region. Peel is notorious for this since cliques seemingly separate by race upon entering high school, but not necessarily in elementary school. After asking around and seeing cultures for myself, I have deduced that upon adolescence, differences in culture, even in a diverse country of Canada where many second-generation citizens prosper, separate the races. It is instinct that attracts preps to preps, emos to emos, and of course, races alike. This isn't to say that humans value race or style of clothing over personality. This is also part of our subconscious deciding. We usually decide upon a first impression of a person whether or not we want anything to do with them. It just so happens those who have more in common come together more easily because in nature this assures that work would be more easily completed if that work is an interest of both persons. If you don't have an interest in sports, don't become a sports writer. It won't work well for you or your colleagues. Or if your buddies just watch sports all the time and you hate sports, you may not associate with them in the future. This is the same as cultural shifts among races, which in turn are not only caused by nature, but influenced by our subconscious attracting alike. On a final note, this phenomenon how nature attracts those with similar interests, and therefore races can also cause racism. Suppose there's a culture clash between the culture class such as the creation of Israel in the Middle East. This would surely separate races such as Arabs and Jews and create xenophobia for one another. Sure, xenophobia is a product of nurturing. Would Arabs and Jews have a conflict if it was not for Israel? They have more in common than almost any other pair of races. But in this case, it was just a conflict of interest, as a product of clashing cultures. Xenophobia can be brought up by instinct, which is also a product of nature. One bad experience can be re-influenced subconsciously later in a person's life because of nature. This causes xenophobia, the fear of another race. When you think about this, isn't everything nature? We believe today that cities and factories are nature, and that racism, as Fred pointed out, is not as deeply influenced by nature as nurture. But wasn't it nature that made man consume protein, thus improving brain size? And this similar force of nature, with bigger brains, let us use tools for hunting and tools for building, and soon enough, big civilizations, modern civilizations. Is nurture in fact nature? Well, what about Neanderthals that were believed to be destroyed by us as well as other factors? Here were two different species almost entirely alike, almost like the races. They soon enough went to war and attempted to destroy each based on small differences. Differences in culture are a product of differences in race, both in turn are a product of evolution in nature. Everything in nurture starts with nature.
Although nature plays a role in differentiating races, and separating them via instinct.
Nurturing a youth towards any view of racism will more deeply influence them. Holy crap, man. What just happened?
We just learned about racism.
Holy. And I'm hungry. Wanna go out to Curry Village to get some curry?
I don't know, I'd rather get some fried rice. I'm paying.
No, you aren't, you cheap bastard.